Namaste, yogis, yoginis, friends. Welcome to the traditional Tantric Hatha Yoga Moon Sun Fire 200-hour home study program. This information was just too important and too valuable to contain within the framework of only teacher training. It's not everyone's destiny, not everyone's dharma to be a teacher, but it is everyone's destiny, everyone's spiritual purpose to be an exalted, exceptional, excellent, extraordinary version of themselves. And these teachings are that. These are the original tools. This is the original science of self-remembrance, what we could also call soul remembrance, and self-excellence. And they are meant for everybody. So we thought, well, then let's do our part and create a new structure of our teacher training program that can be offered to everybody, and so that they can do it at their own pace. So that's what this is, and thank you for being a part of it. A little bit more to introduce and chat about before we get into the actual program. But before we do that, let's go all the way back to the beginning. In the beginning was the word, and the word was Om. So let's start with 3 rounds of the Om mantra. You can chant along if you wish, or just sit and receive. And know that this is just a way of invoking and inviting an auspicious beginning to our home study program together. Please sit up nice and straight. Soften your belly, open your chest, lengthen the back of your neck. Take a few deep breaths into your belly. Ground your mind in your body. So we'll do 3 Oms together. Deep breath in. One more. Take a few deep breaths again into your belly. Feel those vibrations moving through your body, vitalizing your body and illuminating your mind. All right. Let me add one additional piece to what I said a moment ago about it's not everyone's dharma and destiny to teach. Having said that, even though this is not a certified teacher training, Once you get established in your own practice, in the right way, in the correct way, and you assimilate, digest, and embody the teachings of the traditional path of yoga and tantra, which is what we're studying here, you may feel a compulsion in the core of your being, a compulsion that you have to teach, in which case, do it. My guarantee is this: if you do this training properly, all of the practices, all of the lectures, you embody them, assimilate the knowledge, and get fully established in your own practice, you will know more than 99% of the yoga teachers worldwide. That is a guarantee. Even the famous ones. When I look around at the blue checkmark yoga teachers, the ones with the biggest followings, and I see what they're posting and I see what they're offering, it really breaks my heart because it's so far from what this path is. Let me give you a little example. Most of the asanas, so let's be really, really clear. Asana and yoga are not the same thing, but these days, the blue checkmark yoga teachers with the huge followings are marketing asana as yoga. Asana is not yoga. You can be a kick-ass yogi and never do a day of asana in your life. And you can do asana every single day of your life and never touch the spirit of yoga ever. And that's what's happening. So that's the first thing. Asana and yoga are not the same thing. The second thing is this. Most of the asanas being taught and practiced today are no older than 100 years old. They were grafted skillfully. It was a good move, but they were grafted by Krishnamacharya onto traditional asanas, which are close to the ground asanas. Why? Because you can be more stable on the ground with your seated twists, belly down back bend, seated forward folds, and inversions, of course, headstand and shoulder stand, they are traditional. But all of the standing poses that we see today, the warriors, the triangles, the side angles, the half moons, the things which take up the bulk of modern day yoga, even though that's not yoga, that's asana. And what I'm telling you now is those aren't even asanas. They were grafted on 100 years ago by Krishnamacharya, who took them from European gymnastics, from the gymnasts who he was at the YMCA with and the Mysore Palace with back in the day. The Raj of the king, the Raj, the royalty of the Mysore Palace that Krishnamacharya was employed to work at, he also had an interest in everything foreign. So he was bringing athletes over, gymnasts over. Krishnamacharya saw what was going on, and he took some of those moves as warm-up moves to help people get more established in true asanas, which are close to the ground. So most of what's being taught these days is not actual yoga. And so that's why I say with full conviction and with zero doubt that if you assimilate everything that you learn here, you will know more and be able to teach more than 99% of the yoga teachers and the blue checkmark yogis on the earth. And that I guarantee you. And that's what we need, because this system of traditional Hatha Yoga, it's too good. It's too good to lose. And it's being lost. It's being swept away in this sea of non-yoga or warm-up asana. And here's the reality. If the blue checkmark yogis aren't doing their part to save this tradition, who do you think's coming? No one. No one is coming unless you do, unless we do. There's a great quote by JFK If not us, then who? And if not now, then when? And that is so applicable to the yoga world that is dying a horrible death, strangled by big business and marketing and fanciness and fluff. What the yoga tradition needs are true yogis and yoginis that are interested in studying, practicing, and maybe, if you feel that compulsion, sharing the traditional path, because this is how we help to heal the world. This is an incredibly healing path, despite what Yoga Alliance would have us believe. I don't know whether you know this or not, but Yoga Alliance, apparently the world governing body of yoga, they will not allow us to use the word healing as it relates to the content of our trainings. You cannot use the word healing as it relates to yoga. Is that the most insane thing you've ever heard? It's the most insane thing that I've ever heard, because if this path is not about healing, then I don't know what it is. Healing the body, healing the breath, healing the mind, healing the karma, healing the blockages in our energetic system, the stagnation, the stuck energy, healing those points of density, healing the fracture in our mind that thinks that we are somehow limited and separate from our source. If that's not about healing, I don't know what is, but Yoga Alliance aren't having it. So if you feel, once you've done this and you get established in your practice, because that's super important, no one should be teaching yoga unless they are fully established in their own personal daily practice of asana, pranayama, and meditation, because that is yoga. That's real yoga. So I'm very passionate about this path, about this training, this home study program. And if it lights you up, if this information lights you up, and at the end of it you feel compelled to go and share it, then share it. Don't worry about certificates. It's not about certificates. It's not about needing validation from Yoga Alliance or famous yogis or anyone. It's about what you feel in your heart and what you know in the core of your being about what you are here to do. I want you to share this stuff, and I don't care about certificates at the end of the day. If you care about certificates, great, then organize that for yourself. But this program is just about giving you the information, hopefully inspiring you to practice in the way that this system was intended to be practiced. And then from there, destiny will take over. If it is your destiny, your dharma to teach, you won't be able to not do it, because it will just be whispering all day. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. That song of the soul will get louder and louder and louder until you won't be able to bear it. And you will have to follow this path of sharing this information if it is your destiny. But either way, get established in practice, because that will change your life. Get established in your practice and do it in the right way. This idea of just practicing once in a while, or practicing based on how we feel in a given moment, or roll out of bed and think, I feel like doing this practice, or I don't feel like practicing. That is not yoga. Yoga is skill in action. There is a system and a methodology and a science and a reason. It is precise, and it is so precise that it's beautiful. And that's how this path has to be approached in order for it to be effective for you. Drop-in classes are not going to evolve us in the way that we hunger for. Practicing based on how we feel in a given moment is not going to provide the results that we hunger for. But this program will show you how to access those results by committing to self-practice in the right way. So as we get into this program, my suggestion to you is every practice that you come across, the program is a combination of practices and lectures, and everything moves progressively through this system of moon, sun, fire, which we will talk about and unpack often and in many, many different ways. So don't worry if that is a little bit over your head at the moment. But as we go through this process and you come across the practices, my suggestion to you is that you repeat those practices multiple times. 3 times, 4 times, 5 times in a row. Just doing a practice once, it will not give you any information. You need to repeat, repeat, repeat. Then you can start to assimilate the energetic impact, the mental impact of the practices that you're doing, but it will take repetition. So my advice is get into the habit of repeating practices, because at the end of the program, the culmination is you putting everything that you've learned into practice over a 40-day period. You having assimilated all of the teachings to now be able to construct for yourself a 40-day practice that you commit to every single day for 40 days. And if you miss a day, you go back to day 1. That's how it works. And you complete that 40-day practice based on what you know about moon, sun, fire, and what you know, more importantly, about yourself. And you anticipate that in the beginning, that 40-day practice may not feel good because you're doing it to heal yourself of some specific condition, some mental affliction, some energetic blockage. So it's not going to feel great in the beginning. That's why doing one practice tells us nothing. But as we repeat and repeat and repeat, specific practices calibrated to the things within us that we need to heal, eventually energy becomes unblocked, the mind becomes more clear, the body becomes more strong. And we start to see the gold within the grit. But the grit is going to be there. And to avoid the grit is to rob ourselves of the gold. So start getting into the mood of true practice, which is repetition, so that at the end of the course, you're ready to go. You want that 40-day practice. You're like, these 5-6-day practices is not enough. Now I want 40 days because I want to dig deeper. That's the spirit of Hatha Yoga. I want to take my own destiny into my own hands. I want to work through my own karma at my own pace. I will do it. I don't need a priest. I don't need a guru. I just need my practice and my self-commitment, and that will get the job done. That's the end goal, 40-day practice. Then at the end of the 40 days, you reassess. Now, where do I need to patch some holes in my life? Not in my practice. Not I want to work on a specific pose. That's nonsense. The yoga is bigger than that. It's not about working on the body. We will use the body, but it's about working on our life. So where in my life is there a crack? Is there a flaw? And based on what I know about this science, how do I fix it? And then that's the next 40-day practice and the next one. And then everything eventually comes into balance. All of our imbalances harmonize. We are grounded, stable, and life is reflecting that back to us in the way that we sleep, in the way that we digest and eliminate, our capacity to hold ourselves in a non-reactionary space in times of friction. Plus, our intuition is getting sharper, our sensitivity to energy stronger, our vitality throughout the day more radiant, we're less tired. Okay, that is balance. Once we are balanced, then we go straight for the fire. And from that point, we never leave. And we keep on stoking the fire, burning through the deeper layers of our karma and ascending higher and higher and higher as we become stronger and stronger and stronger, strong enough to fulfill whatever destiny our soul brought us here to achieve. That's proper practice. In short, moving forward, there will never be a day where you are not practicing. Why would you? Why would you rob yourself of the joy of coming home to yourself? It doesn't make sense. If we can commit to brushing our teeth every day, scrolling on social media every day, then we can commit to self-remembrance every day. Because that is the most important thing that there is. Without that, there is nothing. There is just doubt and confusion and fear. But when there is self-remembrance, there is excellence, there is abundance, there is vibrancy on all levels and in all ways. So what could be more important than that? Nothing. All right. I think it's time to get to it. This is true practice, true yoga. The traditional science, moon, sun, fire, traditional science of self-excellence and soul remembrance. Welcome to the squad. Great to have you here. I can't wait to share all of this incredible information with you. It's not my information. Everything belongs to the tradition. We are not innovators here. We are messengers. We are torchbearers. And that's what we want you to become, each in your own way. Enjoy the program. Again, thank you for being a part of it. Lots of love and get to work. Namaste.